Hey everyone! So I have a whiteboard, I have a marker, and just to be safe, I have my clock in case I need to build time. All right, here we go. Quick review. These should be things that we've done before, seen before, talked about before, so they should feel pretty good. Let's see how we're doing. All right. Oh boy. Clocks. It looks like there are 3 of them. Okay? So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out where are the hour hands. We'll color them red. Then we're going to figure out where the minute hands are. We're going to color them blue. And then we're going to build them on our clock. After we build them, we'll figure out what time they say. And then we will learn another way to say that same time. Just like addition problems, just like part whole, there are many ways to do all kinds of math problems. So unfortunately, there are different ways to talk about the time. So learning both isn't a bad idea. Here we go. Okay, so I talked about red and blue, and I like those colors because they match your clock, but also they let you really see what the action's going on here. So I believe the hour hand tells you a lot. If you look at this hour hand, it is in between the 7 and the 8. So I know the hour is somewhere in the 7's yard going toward the 8. It's about halfway there. So I already know this time is about half past because I can tell from the hour hand that it's not exactly 7, it would be on the 7. And it's not almost 8 because it would be almost touching the 8. It is right in the middle. So I think this is definitely 7 something, probably something in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. 7 something. All right, so I'm going to say 7 what? Let's see here. All right, so Mr. W says I can always count by 5s to do this, but I've memorized this one, but I'm still going to count by 5s just in case you haven't. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, Right there is 30 minutes past 7, 7:30. So I'm going to take a second just to build that time on my clock. I'm going to go ahead and put the red hand in between the 7 and the 8. I'm going to wind the blue hand. Oh, look at that. I match. Now, unfortunately, when I show you mine, mine's going to be a little bit backwards in this screen, but 7:30. Okay? Now, there are a couple different ways to say 7:30. The first one is kind of easy. You just look at the minutes first and you say, oh, we have 30 minutes after 7. Right? It's the same thing. They've just flipped it. And then the other way is a little more old-fashioned. Instead of saying 30 minutes after, they might say half past. And if you listen to mom and dad, they say these things all the time, but they mean the same thing. Half past 7 is correct. 30 minutes after 7 is correct. 7:30 is correct. They're all good answers. Next, I'm going to focus in on the hour hand. So I already know it's not quite as late on this one because it's closer to the 7. So I think this number, the second number, is going to have to be smaller now. But how small is it? Let's find out. So I know it's still 7 something. Let me write this down. 7, definitely there. And then this one comes all the way out to here. I should have done that here too. Look at that right there. Yep. So we go 5, 10, 15. I knew it was smaller. Yeah. If it kept going, this little hand would get closer and closer and closer to the 8. As it keeps going around the clock, it gets closer and closer and closer until all of a sudden it gets all the way to the click, 8 o'clock. But it's still 7 something, all in this space here. It's not 8 until it actually gets there. You haven't won the race until you actually cross the line. So it's still 7 all the way there. 7:15, you can say that a different couple ways. You could say it is 15 minutes after 7. You'll hear that, 15 minutes after 7. Or this chunk of the clock right here is 1/4 of this whole piece of pie. See? 1/4. That has a nickname. We call that a quarter. Right? We use that same nickname in money. Quarter past, because it takes 4 quarters to make up a clock. 2 quarters, 3 quarters, 4 quarters. 1/4 past. That's probably the hardest one that we're going to do. Quarter past. All right, let's look at this next clock. Focus in on, whoa, it's getting really close to 8 o'clock. Do you see how that's getting closer and closer? It's still 7 though. Don't get fooled. It's still 7 because it hasn't touched the finish line. But 7 what? I think it's going to be a big number. It's going to be bigger than 30. It's going to be bigger than 15. It's way over here by the 9. What is that? Well, I could count all the way from the beginning if I wanted, but I'm going to start right here because I know this is 30. 35, 40, 45. So this time is 7:45. Another way of saying that is 45 minutes after 7. Okay? And then there is one thing left, kind of a challenge activity. It's so close to 8 that sometimes moms and dads start referring to the time to the next hour because it's so close. It's like I'm almost 8 years old, so I might start telling my grandma, I'm almost 8. You know, I don't say that I'm 7 3/4 anymore. I don't say I'm 7 and almost. I say I'm almost 8. So they do the same thing in the clocks. When it's getting really close to 8, when it's really close to the next hour, they'll say it's almost 8. Okay, so on this one, I could say it's almost 8. It's 15 minutes away from 8. Yep. So you could say it's 7:45. And that is a very tricky idea. Thanks for thinking about it with me, though. Wow.